the thing to recognize is that we've got this investigative teacher, right? Investigative teacher starting off, and then we look at the martyr teacher. It looks great, hey? Teacher, teacher. Investigative teacher, martyr teacher. So if you look down here, we've got an investigator guru and a martyr guru. Ooh, guru, guru. We've got an investigator priest and a martyr priest. Priest, priest. We've got an investigator prophet and a martyr prophet. Prophet, prophet. We've got an investigator messenger and a martyr messenger. Messenger, messenger. Investigative Buddha and the martyr Buddha. Buddha, Buddha. So, Buddha with Buddha, messenger with messenger, prophet with prophet, priest with priest, guru with guru, teacher with teacher. It happens. You would think, oh, how nice. But it's actually not something to applaud yourself over. Of course, you have no choice in this. What you will see is that there is a shift in between. So then we have the investigative teacher with the martyr guru body, which is quite different than an investigative teacher with the martyr teacher body. Do y'all recall that the body is the life? That over some time, you watch your body start to align, and then the life lives, breathes, your experiential process of being. The body, its life, and the mind witnesses, watches. So then what happens is you witness, watch, as the form dominates. And so if we can take what we remember about our basic understanding of profile, y'all remember how investigative martyr is quite challenging, maybe much more challenging than being an investigative, networker, opportunity-driven person. Because 1 and 4, oh, they're harmonic. Oh, maybe a little bit, quote unquote, easier. That's assuming that you're not self, and most people are. So as we walk through this pattern, as you start to orient yourself to seeing the difference between an investigative teacher and a martyr teacher versus an investigative teacher with a martyr guru body, you will see the difference in how it shows up, practically speaking, and what to watch for as we move through these next 6 weeks. By the end of the course, you will get it. In the beginning, I know, difficulty at the beginning. It is a little bit more challenging to see in this genetic spiraling way of how the shift obviously creates a difference, because now we're looking at no resonance in these themes. Yeah, resonance from the mind and its color motivation to the body and its form principle of differentiation. In other words, when we have resonance, it brings a kind of ease to the potential expression of what this is, this motivational frequency. It's more complex to have a guru body with an investigative teacher mind. It's quite different, isn't it? Oh, yes, it's different. But how? That's one of the things that we're going to explore as we move through this. And what you see here is that they're kind of like a mini bridge between the standard themes that are perfectly resonant. So you've got the perfectly resonant teacher, and that is a teacher brain system, and that brain system is perfect for supporting the personality and its expression of teacher. Perfect match. Perfect match. And you think, oh, I want the perfect match. How come I don't have the perfect match? Oh no, there's a little pitfall here. Don't worry, I'll show you the quicksand. It happens. What to do? So the resonance underneath bonds the investigator and the martyr into a unit that's relatively harmonious. Just like when we have our harmony profiles. You see this harmony thing going on. 1, 1, 1, that 3 standing out there. So there's no conflict, there's no dilemma. When there's no conflict and no dilemma, you would think, easier. However, there's no true, quote unquote, no true creativity according to Ra when you've got this. He says you could use the term smoother, but it's not creative. It's not an out of the box. The guru body with the teacher personality, or the priest body with the guru personality, those are out of the box because they don't fit. Guru, we fit. Priest, we fit. Prophet, and so forth and so on. Okay? Now, if you look at this, teacher, guru, priest, and so forth. Now, the thing to recognize about the underlying motivational frequency and the resonance with the body's determination to take in life differently, it's quote unquote a hell of a lot easier for this mind to live its not self, the assumption that it's really in control, unquote. So that's the pitfall, that's the quicksand, that's the thing to watch out for, because it's much easier, can you tell Laveena is speaking from experience, for the priest mind to think, I got this, preach. It resonates with the body. Yeah, the body is the life, so easier. No problem, got this. Mind has this potential to hop up and go, yep, got it, did it, done that, been there. I'm in control, no prob, got this. And that's the problem. Okay, that's the challenge for these people. Oh, you think, I want that, how nice. Nope, you are your own design. Stick with it. Stick with the program. It's all okay. It'll be all okay. It's just different. Okay? So, in the transition, here we end up with a personality that's constantly at odds with its body. Why? Investigative and martyr? So not alike. Teacher and guru? So not alike. Trying to get the body to be the teacher, and it's not. No, it's guru. Heavy in Sanskrit. Yeah, guru. Whereas the mind is teacher. So these roles are going to be something that are out of the box. Out of the box. Perhaps more friction, where the mind wants to go, teacher? I want to be teacher. Guru says, I want to be guru. When in reality, they are here. The teacher is, the body is the life, the guru. The guru, body is the life, the priest. The priest, body is the life, the prophet. So just to extrapolate out some meaning, you remember how fours need a network? 4 prophet people on the body side, again, we're talking about the body is the life, the determination. They need that in-person connective field in order to truly prophesize, to really get that information into the network, you could say. And here's the prophet mind with a messenger body. Messenger bodies want to change the world. They want to do that. They want to call out the other, very different than having a messenger mind with the Buddha body. You see how it's different? And then we have our investigative, opportunistic with the Buddha teacher. So you're taking what you know from line qualities, you're adding on a different label, if you will, for color motivation, the true profile. And now, as we saw last week, now we're seeing what is the dilemma that is apparent when we're looking at the analysis of the mind versus the form. Body is the life. The form dominates. Remember, the mind is just software. Body, hardware. Heavy like guru. Okay, so if your personality is a teacher and you look in the mirror and you want to see that teacher and you don't see it, you don't like it. Why does everybody expect me to be guru? Or guru thinking, priest. Why does everybody want the priest in me? Priest thinking, why does everybody want the prophet in me? Prophet thinking, why does everybody want the messenger in me? Now, it's not specifically that they're going to think about and use these terms because they may not be awakened to the fact that their body is Buddha and their mind is messenger. But what you will see is that these bring their own inherent dilemmas. And depending on where that person is in their awareness capacity and their experiment of being their own authority, some of this will be there and some of it they will have no access. Because what happens when someone is not self? Color transfers, particularly on the mind side. Yeah, color transfers. And so they're not thinking in alignment. They have no intelligence, no cognitive intelligence when they're not operating in alignment. And that is unfortunate. They have no clue. We have no clue, unfortunately, until somebody smacks us upside the head. Hey, wake up! No, sorry, that doesn't work. Ra tried it. Doesn't work. Okay, so now that I have given you the basic mathematics and you can hear that Laveena's muse is on a rampage, let's take a look at some of the interpretation or the values that are associated with this, thanks to Ra Uru. As we see, when we understand where we stand, the 1-3 Investigative Martyr, the basic understanding of this Investigative Martyr. We're looking at somebody who is consciously driven to overcome its insecurities, to be able to establish a strong foundation. And what we know about this is who it thinks it is. Mind is an it, gas of the brain. And as we look to the design, the form, trial and error process, banging into things, bonds, made and broken. This trial and error process is something that they're trying not to do when they're not liking who they really, truly be. The body side. They're banging into things that may not be stable. And the investigator is desperately trying to drive down into the heart of things and figure out what is stable. That's the dilemma. So being self-absorbed, trying to find the security of a solid foundation in a life full of trial and error. What to do? My poor little 1-3 child, I see it. So this lower trigram, the only one of its kind profile, is deeply, deeply self-absorbed. And so because they're constantly coming across the lies in life, what does not work, they're always finding insecurity. They're trying to find solid foundation in a life of shifting sand. So the beginning of this profile is to understand, despite the fact that the personality longs for a secure foundation, the body knows, the vehicle knows that life can be a bitch. Things don't work, things break, people lie, promises are broken, hearts get broken, careers unearthed because AI. And so you have this way that the life, this program, our imprinting is set. What to do? The investigative personality is here for the mind to the other, being an outer authority, not the source of decision making. The mind in its investigative qualities, its comprehension of diving down deep into things. If we look in the context of correctness, the personality is about outer authority. So the mind in terms of its value for others, regardless of type, not as a source of decision making. Being an investigative outer authority for the other is an indication of the purpose of this person's life work, their role. And when you're looking at their role, the indicator of their purpose, now we have nuances under the surface. And when we start with the personality, obviously the obvious, they're all investigative. That's what they're all about. But they're here to investigate in different ways and for different purpose. What's the purpose? 1 and 2, survival. 3 and 4, learning. 5 and 6, spirit. Just an overview. Now, let's look at the color 1. Mental, investigative teacher who's motivated by fear. When we begin with the teacher, we're talking about first color. Anytime you hear teacher, think first color. Even though in different lines, up at the surface, when we're talking about color, I say teacher, you think color 1. This is fear motivation. Fear is in this role, and not fear in the way that the common vernacular of how human beings look at fear. Eyes wide in terror, you know, the story of the knife coming and you're about to die. No, that's the extreme. Teacher motivation fear is to unearth things. The mind is afraid to stand alone. One of the interesting things about the nature of the teacher, mind is afraid to stand alone. It needs the other in order to make sense, understand, know what it means, quote unquote. Now, because we know need is a transference, I might say it requires the other just to keep it away from transference. And if the other is in agreement, then there is a security that emerges. So one, investigate to find security. The motivation is to get rid of the fear. You might be afraid to stand alone. So in order to teach, obvious, must be the student first. Yeah, student first. It's an essential first line ingredient. There's no way to be a teacher unless you've learned something deeply. So to be an investigative student, that ultimately the outer authority can emerge as an investigative teacher to have that role. Now, teaching is not necessarily standing at a podium in front of the university and telling all the little students. No. It is about either explaining or sharing or empowering or supporting, whatever the vernacular of the surface level is, that person's opinions, ideas, insights, depending on their design. You hear the keynotes? Do your best to adjust your framing of language accordingly with that person's surface stuff. You'll have yourself an excellent analysis so that you can get the other to grasp what you grasp. Okay? So getting the other to grasp what you grasp to ensure that this true foundation is established and it can be properly taught. They must be the student first, like basic stuff you can see for anything. It could be learning how to read and write, cooking, mathematics, share or support or empower with the foundation. Whatever the various stream keynotes that are correct to pass on to that person that you are talking to. The other is an essential part of the development of our species because without a student first, we don't have teachers. And then when the teacher is authoritative, outer authority on their investigations, then they can create more students. And that's how the wheel goes round. When we look at the thematic underneath, however, we've got the thematic of a martyr body. And we know in the context of design, this is somebody who is resilient and adaptable, can take the hard knocks, bangs into things physically, and able to pick themselves back up again and adapt to the material plane. My child of 1-3 bangs into everything. You have no idea how often this child hurts herself. High pain tolerance, gets up and goes again. This is a very powerful body within the PHS context, primary health system context. This is a body that can take pain and punishment. This is a body that can deal with the trial and error of the failed attempts at discovery and bonds made and broken. They can pick themselves back up again. This is a vehicle that is built for the material plane, to handle the material plane, because the material plane is what? Third line, right? So we got a martyr body built for it, built to adapt and handle. Mind, outer authority. So when we think about the nature of the type's respective strategy and your process of personal authority, here we see the authority in a different way, outer authority of mind. So when we looked at the investigative teacher, we were looking at the potential of outer expression. Mind is here for others. A personality in this kind that is always, once it's grasped something, is trying to teach you what it's grasped. It's the quality of the personality. Ross says it can be everything from enlightening to nauseating, the whole spectrum. Remember, the not self is quite challenging and weird. So we have on the other side of this, where the true, real, personal authority of the life lies, is the physical infrastructure of what is being dealt with here. The brain-body system that can support the requirements of mental teaching. The authority for the life is a brain-body system that can support the requirements of what it is to be an outer authority investigative teacher. That's their true profile. Color 1, on the teacher side, you've got this investigative teacher with the martyr teacher, and that is a martyr teacher brain system, perfect for supporting the personality in its investigative teacher. Again, perfect. And it still has this dilemma. Now, if we look at the color 2, personality guru, this is a investigative guru. The motivation of hope, knowing what to wait for, the bodies of one's enemies floating down the river, just waiting to watch them go by, knowing what not to interfere with. So the great gift of this motivation is to know how to stand back and accept there are certain things one can never possibly imagine controlling or being in charge of. And at the same time, you know what to wait for, being aware that if you wait, faith, hope, belief, you will get what you deserve. This is the investigative guru, that heavy availability of knowing the transcendent hope that awakening will come. Remember, guru, the 2, here, quite wrapped in the glory, transcendent hope of awakening. That there are things that you can trust within yourself, these forces of being attuned to the capability of knowing what to wait for, investigative guru. Not so much that teacher thing. Education is necessary for a teacher. Be the student. But on the 2 side, remember the natural at the line quality? We are waiting for the call. The outer authority for the guru is not rooted in the kind of education that is necessary for a teacher. The mystical element of waiting for the call and being called. And in the sense of the authoritative personality, this investigative authoritative personality, if you are called and you answer that call, you have a tremendous power. And this ability is to take in information and move the information, passing on the light of that awareness, that hope to the other. Because again, outer authority, isn't it? We're on the personality side. So knowing what to believe in, knowing what not to believe in, what has hope, what's not worth hoping for, waiting for. It's all part of the outer authority of the investigative guru. To be called. And when you think about marrying that, forced marriage or mystical union, when you think about the body, it's the life after all, the way the brain system operates, all of this is focused on being able to affect the other. Guru, affect the other, because that's what it's here for. A discerning vehicle, third line body after all, rooted in a kind of taste that is very restrictive and selective. Very, very, very selective. Picky. Think 2. Yeah? 2. Picky. Not so much about other things. Just the thing that's you're waiting for, that you're called to. And again, this is under the surface. Now, if we look at the investigative priest, color 3, investigative priests, their motivation is desire. They get locked into things. When the desire swells, and then you find that lock, this investigative priests, these are the ones that are locked on to preaching to you. All of that is done in order to lead you, because whether it's good or bad, this is the way that it works. It's not right or wrong. This is, in the context of the totality, Ra would give you the analogy of wolves and sheep. Yeah? These are people who are designed to lock on and lead. Or not. So their personality construct, their outer authoritative process, manipulates others into accepting what? Their teaching of the foundation, their investigations of the foundation, then they preach. So the priest is a wolf in training because it's a kind of moralistic preacher, because that's what priests do. Do this, don't do that, don't fall into temptation. You know, all of these investigators, they're all trying to compensate for whatever their mental insecurity is by establishing an outer authority, a foundation that they can get others to agree to, or inspire others with that foundation, or teaching them the foundation. The priest will do anything in its power to manipulate. What is 3? 3. You know, hot or cold on the body side, transformers, you could say. So on the mind side, whether the other person agrees or not, preach. This is what the investigator is doing. Now on this motivation of desire, locking into things, this is very powerful in the not self as far as the disarray of what happens. If this is a person in not self trying to preach, then you're looking at somebody who is a 6 color being trying to be a leader, locking on to leadership. Go look at some leaders sometime and see how many of them are actually innocence motivated, trying to be leaders. Without cognition, they can be really cruel and not care whether or not the other person, where the other person is concerned, whether it bothers them, whether they understand it or they don't understand it. They're just attempting to lead, locking on. But coming from a not self place, desirous, desperation, truly uncomfortable, not only in the being itself, but also to those around it. Now, if we move to the prophet, color 4, again, remember personality, color 4, prophet. This is a different direction, upper color, okay? Upper color, much more of a transpersonal. And there's something in the sense of, remember 3 and 4, they're kind of unstable, right? 3 and 4. Here at the color level, we're dealing with 4th color, and from the personality point of view, it's something that's ready to transfer. So very, very unstable. Anytime you see 4th color, it's ready to transfer, right, ready to transfer. Where's it going to transfer? Primarily to the 1, fear, but also to anything else. Very unstable, that 4. What it's truly here for is that the prophet is only concerned with one thing, truly, honestly, authentically. Think of the classic 4th line, influencing those that it knows. Same thing here, the ability to influence those that it knows. That connection field, the prophet needs that person. So the motivation is need. True need, precisely what the other needs. Knowing precisely, exactly, purposefully, prophetically, what that person needs. This investigative prophet is a role that can get things down through the sphere of influence through their research, because they can get that research going through the grasp of diving down deep, let's say guiding the other, advising the other, answer the other, initiating the other, evaluating or reflecting to the other precisely what they need, what is necessary. These are beings that can make incredible, surprising discoveries in their investigation because they're looking for something very, very specific. And you combine that mind, outer authority, with the martyr, prophet. If you have a prophet design, that is 3rd line body, prophet color 4, if your design color, again, upper color, this is the 4th color after all, the design is only going to function at optimum when they're following their primary health system. So we have basic diets we explore in Radical Transformations clinics in order for your true body to be sheathed, the powerful close of your life's work, process, purpose. So if you have a prophet body, the third line, prophet body, you're looking at a digestive system that is demanding the circumstances of your eating, as in the environment of your eating being very important to you. So being on one side or the other, it's how the determination touch. You are touched by the frame of where your body is, the sensory capacity, whatever it happens to be for you. We're not going into tone or we'd be here all day. But the vehicle being correct means the platform is very, very specific. The platform of the transformative effect of what one might encounter when the body is sheathed and wearing the right clothes. These transitions are so interesting. Look, difference, yeah? Teacher, guru, guru, priest, priest, prophet, prophet, messenger, messenger, Buddha, Buddha, teacher. You see the orientation of how there's that stepping, you know? This fascinating capability of us seeing the transitions as getting to live together comfortably with a teacher mind in a guru body, to just skip the line quality, which you already know. So you don't need your mind to make decisions in your life. It can't. You make mental decisions and automatically you lose your cognitive difference. But when you let go of the mind making decisions and you watch the body live its life, what's interesting is that now you can let your mind free to do whatever it wants to do. It's kind of like when you're driving. When you're driving and you feel like fantasizing, your body knows how to get to where you're going and knows what to wait for. Oh, wait at the stoplight. Yes? The body can do that. And then the mind is free to ponder, to process, to be the student that is here to teach. Transitions are important because we get to see the expansion of the potential of the investigative roles rather than getting locked into these are the out of the box, remember, locked into the box of teacher, teacher, or guru, guru, or priest, priest. The messenger, if we move from the color 4 to the 5, investigative messengers are here to make the call. So we know that the nature of a messenger is the guilt force, motivation, guilt. At the personality level, this is about getting you to change. This is what a messenger does. Call you out on your trip. Outer authority is all about getting you to change. You hear Ra with his 5-1 guilting you. Stop being not self, right? 5s, messengers, guilt, motivation. The outer authority, investigative messenger, is to get you to change. They call you out. They try to change the world. That's what 5s do. Remember in the ancient ancient I Ching, all 5s, line quality, exalted. Messenger, try to change the world. Yeah? Answer my call. Put it out there. And when you have a messenger vehicle, because we're still talking 1-3, but with a body that is messenger 2, these are very sensitive to sound because that's the determination, sound. In fact, anywhere you look at a 5, anywhere in the body graph, is a pattern sound at gate quality. I'm talking line and color and tone and such. We're looking at frequencies, sound formulas. We are all vibrational creatures. The truth of what it is to be alive as we vibrate on a very specific frequency. So these martyr bodies with a color 5 messenger sound determination, they are the ones who make the call a very specific way in operating correctly, attuned to sound levels, frequency fields, formulas, being able to provide the message if the mind gets out of the way and the personality goes along with it. If the mind is not in alignment and it's trying to make the decision, might be deaf to the call of the body. Instead of allowing the body to lead, the mind tries to lead. And that's where we get no access to our cognitive potential. So you can see that the program, because again, we're looking at the imprints, our genetic imprints of our sun, earth, how we are here to fulfill our life's work, sun, earth on both sides, where the program runs resonances through us as instruments of consciousness embodied in form, experimenting with what it's like to be reborn with this teacher, or guru, or priest, or prophet, messenger, Buddha. This is what influences the program the deepest, because they are the ones who are truly locked in a box. Not good, not bad, not right, not wrong. It is what it is. And your mind is so much more, again, I'm going to warn you, as the priest does, this is where you can get caught up in your mind running the show because it resonates. However, the mind and the body do not relate. Forced marriage, mystical union, 88 degrees difference. It's a totally different cross arm. So there's all kinds of things that are different. Yeah, very different. The messenger becomes something quite different as a personality when it's in a different body. Because the Buddha body, the light-sensitive body versus the messenger body, the sound-sensitive body, is a very different kind of form. What if this form is meant to walk in the light, to be poetic, or be direct in the light? Yeah, direct people, light-oriented, or not. What if they're indirect? No, we're going to come at it from a different angle. We're going to be indirect about it. We're going to have that night job. Plants at night that grow different than the full sun in daylight, yes? It's a very odd relationship. 5 and 6 don't mix. Sorry, can't help to rhyme, it's cute. 5 and 6 don't mix, they're different. So the color 5 and the color 6, messenger mind, Buddha body, outside the box. Light, not sound, light, frequency fields. Ra says that he's been trying for many, many years to get people to grasp that the personality and the design don't have anything in common. It's like the magnetic monopole. We know it is the agent of form principle. It separates from the ajna, the design crystal, and it builds the body. They build a life. For the first 2 trimesters, it's only the design crystal and the magnetic monopole. There's no personality there. It's just the design and its relationship to the direction in life that it's building its life. And then we have this passenger tacked on like an afterthought. Rob would call us the alien. We are the true aliens, you know, taking a ride in the back seat of the vehicle. And the moment it gets into the back seat of the vehicle, it says, hey, this is me. I think, therefore I am. Oh, sorry, that's so 7-centered. This is not in any way the true you. And when you analyze just this, they go, yes, that's nice. But when you decondition and align, this starts to live its life. You get to witness it with awareness. Very different. These are very different from each other. This is not that. You can clearly see. And where we get into a little bit of in the box and danger, watch out for the quicksand, is when you got full resonance. In those roles where we have the transition, okay, where you have personalities that may be very uncomfortable with that body being so different, like prophet messenger. Those are the roles where, because they're uncomfortable with their vehicles, they might have a little bit more of a challenge in acceptance of such vehicles. The other personalities, prophet, messenger, Buddha, they think they're in charge of their vehicles, so it's so much more easier for them to get away with not self-decision making. Again, the dilemma, the challenge. What happens is when you do the not self-decision making, I know it well. The not self-decision making, you can get away with it to a point, and then it all comes crashing down.